Okay, so everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. This time, we're diving into something that I think is going to be pretty interesting. We like to look at different sources and see what's happening out there in the crypto world. And this time, we're going to be looking at the recent 60 Minutes interview with Brad Garlinghouse.
Yeah, Brad Garlinghouse.
CEO of Ripple.
Ripple, yeah.
And
big stuff.
Yeah, big stuff. I mean, 60 Minutes.
Yeah, it's legacy media.
Yeah, it's
the big time.
Huge. So we're gonna be looking at that and kind of picking it apart and seeing what we can glean from that interview about the state of crypto.
Exactly. Yeah, and particularly, I know you're interested in Bitcoin and XRP.
Yeah.
So we'll be looking at what this means for those two.
Definitely. I think it's gonna be really interesting to see kind of what the what we can read between the lines and what this means for the future of
Yeah, where things are going.
Digital currencies in general.
Exactly.
So yeah, one of the big things that kind of stood out to me right away was Garlinghouse's criticism of the U.S. regulatory landscape.
Yeah.
For crypto, and this is something we hear all the time, right? This isn't a new complaint, but I feel like he kind of took it to another level.
He did. I think. A lot of people have gripes about the regulatory landscape in the United States, but I think he framed it in a very interesting way and made it clear that it's not just a complaint. This is something that is actually actively harming innovation.
Yeah, I think you're right. It was more than just complaining. It was like a warning almost.
It was a warning, like, hey,
guys, if we don't get our act together, you're gonna
lose out.
Lose out.
Yeah, and he made the point that this lack of clarity, companies can't operate effectively if they don't know
what the rules are.
Yeah. It stifles investment because people are afraid to invest in something where they don't know what the
future holds.
Yeah,
and I mean, it's not just hypothetical either.
Yeah.
We're seeing other countries
stepping up
that are becoming way more crypto friendly, and it's like they're rolling out the red carpet. And
they see the opportunity.
We're kind of stuck in the mud here.
Absolutely. And I think it's a legitimate concern for the U.S., because we have, for so long been seen as the leaders in the tech space.
Right.
And if we don't keep up, we could lose that edge.
Yeah, for sure. And, and it's not just, the broader landscape. He also brought up Ripple's own, past legal issues with the SEC.
Yeah, the elephant in the room.
And it was interesting because he didn't shy away from it at all.
He didn't know, and I think it was a calculated move. I mean, because by acknowledging it,
it's like
he's addressing it head on, and he's saying, look, we've had these issues in the past, but we've also had these recent wins, and it's kind of, threading that needle of acknowledging the risks while also, projecting this confidence about the future.
Yeah, and it's a delicate balance, though, right?
It is a delicate balance.
Because for a lot of investors, I think, especially, those who aren't as familiar with crypto.
Who are new to the space.
Yeah, they see that and they're like...
Red flag.
Red flag.
Yeah.
I don't know about this.
Yeah, it just reminds them that this regulatory uncertainty is still a major factor.
Absolutely.
And that, any investment in XRP in particular comes with a certain level of risk.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And speaking of uncertainty, he also talked about ETFs and, he seemed pretty positive about them overall, but also kind of cautious at the same time.
It was this sort of, cautious optimism. And I think the really interesting thing here is that he didn't give like a concrete timeline for when he thought, wider ETF adoption would happen. And that was really important, I think, because a lot of people were maybe expecting,
just for him to say,
yeah, this is going to happen next month or, it's right around the corner.
Right. And so because he didn't do that, that might explain why we saw that initial dip in both Bitcoin and XRP.
That knee-jerk reaction.
Right after the interview aired.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, wait a minute. It's not.
Yeah, it's not all going to happen overnight.
That happened tomorrow.
Yeah. And it really shows you how sensitive the market is to sentiment and speculation. And the fact that both Bitcoin and XRP stabilized so quickly suggests that it really was just an emotional response, not like some fundamental change in their value.
Yeah, it was just kind of like wait a minute.
Okay.
So the big question, and after all this, Was this interview ultimately a net positive or negative for the crypto world?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is.
I think it's more helpful to think of it as a catalyst,
Okay.
because it brought crypto into this mainstream conversation.
Right.
And whether you agree with his points about regulation or not, those points are now part of the conversation.
Yeah, so it's less about good or bad and more about just,
Forcing the issue.
yeah, like we gotta talk
We
about
try to
this.
talk about this.
We gotta figure this out.
And I think the key takeaway for anyone listening who's interested in the crypto space is that regulatory clarity is really the single most important thing
Right.
that's going to determine the long-term success of this whole thing.
Yeah, for sure. And so I guess the question that we're left with is what happens if the US doesn't provide that clarity? Do we actually see other countries take the lead in the crypto space?
Yeah, that's something to think about.
Yeah, definitely a lot to ponder
A lot to ponder.
as we move forward in this crazy world of crypto. So
Absolutely.
yeah, thanks for diving in with me on this one.
Of course, my pleasure.
And we'll see you next time for another deep dive.
See you next time.